Yeah, hello, wonderful people, viewers and subscribers all over the world. In Nigeria, it has been a very wonderful experience for the past 1 week. All thanks to the Nigerian people, especially the youth that came out to end SARS. There is one lesson to be learned, just like we've been preaching here on this platform, which is the power of the people when they are united. There is nothing they can't achieve. No matter how oppressive a government is, no matter how powerful a government is, the government is helpless when the people are united for a cause. And for some time now, we've been pushing for anti-open grazing bill, just like we ignited the End SARS campaign 2 years ago, and kept mounting pressure, exposing to the consciousness of the Nigerian people that they are victims of Nigeria's failed government. And I'm impressed that they were able to act in that direction. Now, coming down to Southeast, because that is my catchment area, and the South, my people, we must end a whole lot. There are a lot of things to end in Nigeria because everything is wrong with Nigeria. The government institutions have failed. The politicians are the worst you can get anywhere around the world. And the ordinary people, the indigenous people in Nigeria are constantly, being oppressed. And the worst of it is that they use the instrumentality of government. Now, we've talked about anti-open grazing. The government have in so many ways tried to force down the throat of Nigerians to accept. They bring Ruga, they bring cattle grazing, they bring this, they bring that. They have special interest. They have special interest in good morning. They have special interest in possessing your land and giving same to the Marudas, those that are there to take your land by force. They came up with this recent one, water bill, resource, and all the rest of them. Now, I appreciate the fact that other nationalities are waking up, just like this Yoruba leader.
I'm trying to quote or paraphrase what you said. You said the Yorubas are living like slaves. They don't seem to be able to see the fire, but the smoke is all around us.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Yeah, we're more or less like an enslaved people in this country. Most of the peoples of the Middle Belt and the South are like enslaved people in this country. We are being ruled by impunity. There is no respect for the constitution or the law. The people who control the power of government in Abuja are doing what they like. And there is no sense of responsibility in terms of security of the people. People are being killed and so on, and the government in Abuja is not really doing much. In fact, for a long time, they were not doing anything to protect us. And they are using their power more to compel the authorities of our states to make it possible for people who say we are coming to kill and maim and destroy to enter into our land and to take territory and settle, under whatever name you may call it.
You're referring to things like the NLTP,
the Ruga, etc.,
cattle colonies, and so on.
It's irresponsible for the government of a country to say to a people who are being brutalized by a particular set of people, to say to them, open your territory for them to come in. You can't say that.
Well, but if we go back a bit, Prof, and look at this, the issue of cattle colonies or Ruga or the National Livestock Transformation Plan, the various names that these things have been given, are supposed to be a solution to the basic problem you identified earlier, which is the one of people coming into other people's farmlands and so on and killing them and all of that. The whole issue of livestock grazing openly and all of that. This is supposed to be one of the steps to be taken to solve that?
No, the people are being brought. The people who are threatening that they're coming to kill and maim and destroy are being told that we are going to help you, in fact, settle in the lands of those people who you are coming to kill and maim and destroy. That's not the way government solve problems. The way to solve problems will be to find an answer to the governor of Kano said, I have enough grassland in Kano State to accommodate all of the cattle grazing that is happening. Nobody is taking up that offer. But there is an insistence to inculcate the Fulani into the territories of the peoples of the Middle Belt and the South. And the federal government is pushing that might and main. So naturally, the rest of us who are not Fulani are suspicious of the intentions of the federal government.
Could this be a problem of presentation, Prof?
It's not a question of presentation, it's a question of an agenda that we are seeing behind all of that is happening. It's not just presentation.
Well, I ask that because the Southern and Middle Belt Forum and other such groups that you mentioned are also opposed to things like the Water Resources Bill.
Yes, because it's another attempt to create an avenue for creating Fulani settlements all over our land, in the river basins and the river banks and so on in our land. It is the same thing. The federal government seems these days to be doing nothing more than to think of ways that we are going to get this Fulani to be admitted into these lands.
But there are already Fulanis in most parts of the South and Middle Belt.
Yeah, we are not opposed to Fulani, especially we Yoruba. You know who we are. We welcome foreigners in our land. Our culture says very specifically, the stranger is coming, receive him and take care of him, because your God has benefits hidden for you in that. That's our culture. And in our history, we have welcomed people. We welcome people. We don't attack strangers on our land. In fact, it's a traumatic experience for a Yoruba man to have to raise his hand up and hit a foreigner on his land. It doesn't do that. But what we are seeing is that it's no longer just cattle herders who are coming to our land. When I was a child, a peasant farmer's child, and we will go to the farm, we will see the cattle herder on the way, and he and his cattle, and we will play with the cattle. He will protect us. He said, don't come too near the cows because they could kick you or something. And he was not a hostile person. He was a very nice person who did his work. And if his cows were coming too near our father's farm or our uncle's farm, he would go and drive them away from the place. But now there is an agenda. Not all cattle herders, but some cattle herders come deliberately, belligerently. Their intention is to provoke conflict. Because behind them, we have now discovered, behind them, close behind them, is another group of people who are not cattle herders at all, who are armed with AK-47 rifles, who are actually well-trained militia men, and who, when the Fulani herder, who is the belligerent, not all of the belligerent cattle herder comes into your farm and is eating your crops, and you raise an outcry or resist or something, they are going to come. The militia men are going to come and attack your farm, your village, or anything that night or the night after, and so on. That is the pattern. It is no longer a question of cattle herders coming and rearing their cattle. It's now a question of some cattle herders coming deliberately to provoke conflict with farmers so that the armed military men behind them will have an excuse to come and then attack and destroy that village and kill the people there.
You see, some people will say, what about the other Ohanese? What are they doing? They are highly politicized. Let me talk. Because if they are not, by now they should be the ones leading the end open grazing, because they understand the consequences. But they're trying to be politically correct about it. I thank God for someone like Professor Ozodin Mangwala, the leader and the president of Alibo Development Foundation, pulling together a coalition of Christian bodies and civil society organizations to end open grazing, to join in this campaign and mobilize our people. There are a lot of things to be mobilized. There are a lot of things to be addressed. Our people were living like slaves. It's not just the Yoruba people, just like you heard from this man, the Yoruba leader. We are all living like slaves because from the time ab initio, from the Nigerian independence, 12th October 1960, Ahmadu Bello made it clear, but other people, they didn't see it coming, that this country called Nigeria is the estate of their great-grandfather Usman Dan Fodio. And they will use the North as willing tools, the minority of the North, they call them, as willing tools, and the South as conquered territory. Now, what you're witnessing here is people taking over your land. They're seeing it as their conquered. They even said it, that Benue is their inheritance. Benue State is their conquest land. They have already taken over that area. It is their own, claiming ownership, and that is exactly what they want to do through the back door, through government instrumentality. And if we don't resist it now, woe betide you, we may not have a land to call our own. Even those of us that are shouting Biafra, Biafra, we may not have a land to call Biafra if they succeed in this. And that is why you have to join this campaign, because some people have been saying, what is the update about 1 million? We are still mobilizing. We don't just want to bring anyhow number of people out there and you know, we have not seen the commitment from the people to come out en masse, and the church is still lagging behind. They are not coming forth as expected, but we are giving them their last opportunity, which is this month, for them to do the needful, mobilize a lot of people to end open grazing, because there are a lot of things to end in Nigeria, including Nigeria himself. Nigeria itself is a crime against humanity. Do you know why? It is I would say it is a product of colonization. You know what colonization means? You understand better than me. So there's no need saying too much. I have said a lot already. What is needed of you now is to share the video, drop your comments, let's have your opinion. If you're new on this platform, you're welcome on board. This is BVI Channel 1. Where we see it, we say it. I'm signing out. Stay safe.